Let's start off today's lecture. Yesterday we have an introduction on the node, like a single thread event loop. We also introduced how to work with a module. Basically, it's a require method. Okay, how you do it. You must understand require method, what they're doing. Okay, and today we have a few slides left from yesterday. Then we will cover more about the modules. Basically, it's a built-in module, and also with npm. Let's finish tomorrow yesterday lecture first. So yesterday when we go through the module required, we are all required about the module we created. So every JS file you wrote is in Node we are considered as a module. Okay, and to use require we use a dot, which is use a relative URL, right? And we don't need to add the JS files because Node will automatically add for us. And the remaining, we're going to cover a few like core libraries. And if you can do like a libraries, we learn a few. And for others, you can learn by yourselves when you need. Just take a look at the APIs. If we are using core modules, core libraries, no matter the core library means what? The library provided by Node platform when we install Node.js. Then we no longer use a // which is relative URL. You can directly use the module name. Like here, this one is a util module provided by Node. It can have a bunch of methods. Here, I only pick one about format. This format is similar to when we use system.out.format printf in Java. And you can have some placeholders. This is my format, and this Josh will replace this S. This means a string. You can also have digit others, which kind of like a format. Okay, it's not necessary if you don't like it, do it. And when we console like a say hi to give us a formatted string, it's gonna be hi Josh. Okay, it do have lots of them of others. You can take a look at. This is the APIs. When you need to do that, and we will see other module. The other one is a path. You probably will use quite often. The path module will provide a lot of very useful functionality to access and interact with the file system. Basically, is to find the path of the particular file or form the path to you. How to use that? You require the path because it's a core module. You don't need to use a // to do it. Okay, just a core module. And if you're directly using path, this one, dr name means directory name. It's gonna return the path for this directory. And for buffer is also the built-in, kind of like an global object you can use. Okay. Let's show like first, and this name you can use anything you like. Path. Okay. Path, this is a core module, okay? Then we can take a look at .dr. If suppose you want to find an absolute path thing to a file, then you can use this path, okay? He will give you the actual path of that. Sorry. Actually, you're looking for a string, okay? Otherwise, you're looking for a variable code and the thing. You see, because the buffer, this one is provided kind of like globally, you can use without declare. So it's got represented for current folder. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Suppose I have a support. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, console.log path.drname. I will do is using relative path to Node.js, this one, okay? Okay. To open this one, I want to go to here. Let's see if we can find out, okay? Then I will find a first demo, next tick.js. Let's see what's gonna be printed. Yeah, oh, only relative pass. Oh, see. Here, when we give DR name, let's take a look at it. Just the return directory name, okay? Directory name, see here. Unfortunately, let me do one thing, okay? Let's see, okay. I'm sorry. This one only return directory name, okay? Suppose I give a file here, it will give you a directory name to you, okay? I was thinking it's gonna give you our absolute path. Let me show, let me see this one. Directory name, okay? Kind of like remove the don't it consider this one, which you consider to, but it has a problem. This one would be fine. This one go to next tick, but if I don't have anything after it, it will also, it doesn't go to next tick. It will go through this one. Use when you need, okay.
But if you know that path, then what's the use?
Sometimes probably you don't know. Suppose you have a requirement which you want to get the path, okay. That's one thing you can do is one thing. Suppose you are trying to use the you want to require, right? You have already have a file there. You want to get a path. You want to add a file which is the same directory as that JS file. Then you can use a path. But path normally what you would do is using for this one. Yes, when we use this one, normally we are use path join to give a path back to us. The problem of this one is why we use this one, because in the operating system, like in Windows, you're probably using this slash, right? But in Mac or Linux, you're probably using backslash to represent directory. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Which directory, one is using this one, the other one is using this one in different operating system, right? And when suppose later on, when we want to read a file, we have to give a path to the file, right? And suppose I'm on Windows, I using this one, okay? I using this slash, but when we use the code to the Mac, you probably need to change the separator using backslash, understand me? And the path can solve the problem to you. You don't need to have the slash, forward slash, backslash, okay? It will, based on your operating system, it will choose for you. So normally when we use path, we are using like this way. Const file path. Okay. You will have path, you will use join. And suppose I'll go to the user. The user will have resources, okay? And we will have one images folder. We'll have something called a profile dot png. Suppose you want display on the you want to send a static file to the server side or things. One way you can do is use a relative UI to be like this way. Another way is to be this is a folder and this is our file, and then you can use it, and you don't need to change this code no matter which operating system you are using. It will show you this way. In different operating system, it will anyway, it will based on your operating system to customize. And for this one, if you need, use it. If you don't need, don't use it. You may have cases you may want to use it. Okay, we will see paths quite often in the future. Okay, because when I have folder, I don't wrote like this way. I will use path join to do that. Okay, you will see. And while we're doing path join, you can also do like this thing. Dot. You can also use dot. Okay, you will see it. When you give path.give file and when you reach it, it will go to your parent. But here, path.join will give you a string. Okay. And you can also use dot. You can also use a slash inside, but not recommended. File system. Because in the future, normally we will what's thing? We will bless you. We will save for this course. We will save our like a data like into a in-memory database, which is a array or map, all the things, okay? And eventually gonna save into a database, right? File system, you may use it, but probably not quite often, okay? And we do have cases we will use. Suppose later on we are going to we will see, okay, like for the music, you may need to use it, okay? So file system also a built-in module which provide a lot of APIs to access and interact with the file system. Suppose I want to read a file or I want to write to append some read something to the file, you can do it, okay? Here, file system just require file FS. The reason is because it's a built-in module. You don't need to use a relative URL, same as path, same as util. And this one will give us the absolute path of current file. This one. Do you remember when we do require? We talk about we have in the wrapper. It have export module. It do have and what others? File name, directory name. There's one more. I forgot. Oh, require. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. The two. What is? It should be just. Is it this one? See here. Exports require node file name, directory name, right? And you can sometimes when you read the file, you may use your directory name based on directory name to find the file. Okay, that is the one. And you will see here. This is my file name, and this is my directory name. Okay, you can based on this one to use to choose which file we are using. And file system has lots of APIs, and in JavaScript, in Node.js, it has a convention. The convention is what? Suppose the API name, okay, the method name has sync, which it's gonna be a synchronous API. Understand me? If you see an API which is a method, okay, and the last 4 letter is sync, it means it's a synchronous API. And if like this way, you didn't see sync, then it's an asynchronous API. So for synchronous API, just use as you want, as like a regular APIs, okay, like a filter map, reduce. And for asynchronous API, then we have to do something different, okay. First, let's try with the synchronous API. Suppose here I have a readme.txt, okay, and I will just say hello world, right? And if I want to read this file, you can do is first I have to have a file system which is require fs here, okay? Yeah, let me put in another one, okay? fs demo.js. I put it here because others. And then use file system, you have a read file sync. When you see sync at the end, it means synchronous. And you just need to give what thing, give the path to that file, okay? One way, let's try just use readme.txt. Okay. And when we read, you can also additionally give what's the encoding, which is UTF-8. Suppose for English it's fine, okay? But if like for Arabic and Vietnamese and other language, which doesn't support all the characters, right? Then you have to choose an encoding if you have, okay? Like a UTF-8, you can use UTF-8 or you can use this one, have a dash, okay? Doesn't matter, they're same, okay? Like in our exam, we just use UTF-8. And because it's a synchronous, let's use the content, okay? Let's try this one, console.log start. This one, I will say content. Okay, and this one is end, right? synchronous, we should see start this content and end, okay? FS demo, you will see start, hello world, end, because it's a synchronous API, okay? And to do asynchronous, how to do it? Use a file read and don't have S, Y, and Z, okay? And you have to give a path. You have to use the encoding. And this is also the transition. For all the asynchronous APIs, you will need to provide a callback, okay? And for the callback, you will receive two parameters generally. If we read a file, you will receive two parameters. The first parameter is always the error. And if you don't have any error, it will give you none. And if you have error, it will give the error information here. And the second one, because we are reading a file, right? You have to give a data back. So the second one is always a data. And later on, we'll see a write file. Write file, we don't have any data back. It will just give you an error. So here, the notice application design for the API, okay. Any async function accept a callback as the last parameter, always the last parameter. It's going to become a callback. And the callback function accept the error as the first parameter. If no error, it's going to return none to you. Okay. Let's take a look at, bless you, okay. Take a look at this one. Suppose I will also put it here. Now I use file system dot read the file, okay? And first, let's try here. We are using, because this readme is in current folder, right? You don't need to have, actually don't need to have a path, you know? But if we want to, you can also do like this way. Const path equals require path. If you have like multiple folders, we recommend you use a path. If you don't use it, it's also fine, okay? Path dot join. And suppose you are not sure where to start, we recommend you always start with a directory. This directory will give you current directory, okay? Then you can start like go to a parent or start with your current folder. Then the path, because this one will represent my current directory, right? In absolute path, okay? So when it resolve, it's gonna give you absolute one. So we'll give readme .txt, and you can also give what's name UTF-8, okay, which is encoding, and we give a callback function. The callback function doesn't matter you are using function. Here we're going to use a function declaration, which is anonymous function, right? You can also give error function in the, because we don't use this keyword. The first one is always error, okay. The second one, it can you will give you data, and here we are going to get the data. Okay. Then let's take a look at, okay. Let me have a hello here. .txt. Okay. Welcome to MIU. Okay. Like this, okay. And here I will change to be hello. So you will see one I'm reading readme, one I'm reading hello. And let's take a look at the code. Take a look at it here. Even though this piece of code I put before the end, right? See here, this one I put it before end, but when you see welcome MIU is after the end. This is because why? Because read file is asynchronous, okay? You cannot do something like this way, okay? This RES is not the data from hello. You got me? See here, you will see undefined, because when you read the file, to get the data, it will go through this callback, okay? And this RES is not the data, okay? The data is inside your callback. And you will see RES give you what's the undefined here. You got me? Most of almost I didn't check everything, okay? Almost every asynchronous API, like a read file, write file, the returned value gonna be undefined. If you want to get a data, you have to through the callback. Any question here? Okay.
Even if we return mutation, not possible.
Yeah, if you return it also will not. Okay. Suppose what because as we mentioned earlier, you can if it works then my bad. Okay. You will see undefined. The reason is because do you remember the set timeout? We have a callback, right? When you return something in the set timeout callback, will it do anything? No, because most of the callbacks, it have a side, you guys should know. When we talk about RxJS, and we mentioned about the callbacks, there's one famous problem, two kind of like a famous problem of callbacks. First, the returned value of callbacks is going to be ignored. Because when we return RES, what should we do for this RES? Okay, the problem is this one is what's the this one is asynchronous code. Asynchronous code, when you return, it's hard to control the flow. So, but with the callback, it's easier to control the flow because we know it's asynchronous. We're going to put it in the callback queue. But if we return catch it, it's kind of like you are doing synchronous code. So all the callbacks actually it's the returned value gonna be ignored because it's gonna be in the inside callback queue. Okay. And another problem with those kind of callbacks is you're gonna have what's thing? We're gonna have a callback here because suppose here, this one is a student list, okay? All of them is a student. And after you get a student, you want to get something else based on student, you're gonna have and if you use asynchronous, you're gonna have a callback, and inside of here, you're gonna have another callback, another callback, another callback. You're gonna have callback here. And we'll talk about when we introduce promise, okay, how to solve it. But that's a great question. Let me finish, okay? Let me change it back. If you return, don't get a value. Okay. Then, Nahom, okay.
So, read file or function needs asynchronous.
Asynchronous means read the file. This one is asynchronous API.
If it is read file in the asynchronous, how about the other one?
This one?
Yeah, you put it before this one. You were reading from readme.txt, right?
Which one?
Not this one, and then you were reading from readme.txt before this one. Before you were yes.
This one is the asynchronous API. This one.
I'm saying is you put it before this one.
This one?
Something before this
one. Okay.
You were reading a file from readme.txt, right? Readme.txt.
Readme dot. This one. This one. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, we are using read file, right?
Yeah. This is what we read.
But we got the data and then also download in, right?
Yeah.
We have to expect data in the in but we got in between, right?
Yes, I got it between. Because this API and this API are different. Do you see? This one has SYNC here. This one don't have SYNC.
So if you want to from asynchronous to synchronous, if you want to change it, you have to
change this syntax. Okay. If you want this readme.txt to be asynchronous, okay, then you have to do the same thing like this way. Like this. Then it's gonna read asynchronously. You will see another hello world. Okay. And that's the API design, okay? If you have SYNC, that means synchronous. And if we don't have, it's gonna be asynchronous. And asynchronous, you have to work with a callback, okay? But it do have methods which you can convert asynchronous API, not using callback, using async await or promise, but we have to introduce it later. Does it explain? Okay. Because this API and this API, they're different. This one. You can also write a file. A write file is exactly same as a reader file, okay? Just to tell you which file you want to write and then which the content, okay? It will also give you a callback. Let me show you, okay?
Okay. When we use the sync and when we use the sync?
Depends on your requirement. Yeah, and there's one place you definitely need to use synchronous is suppose in the future you want to create a HTTPS server. Do you understand HTTPS, which is secure level server? And for HTTPS server, you have to have a certificate. You have to have a private key ready, right? So in that case, you must use a synchronous API, because if we use asynchronous API, it means before you start after you start server, because the start server gonna be executed before you read the files, and actually we have to use these two files before we start a server, right? So in that case, you must use a synchronous API. And other cases depends on your requirement. Suppose later on when it's used, if we have a super large file, okay, then it's gonna block the event loop, right? So in that case, you probably consider asynchronous API, right? So it depends on the scenarios you can choose. Okay, that's a good question. Let's do a write a file. Okay, write a file. Or write a file. Or let's do write a file. Right. And the write file also has two APIs. You can choose write file or write file sync. It's your choice. Okay, let's practice this asynchronous API. And for the first one, you have to give the file including the path. Okay, so suppose here I write a students. Okay, .txt. And if I just do like, you can also use what's thing path.join to write to another location, to the parent, you know, the thing. Okay, it depends what you want. And for this one, which is let's write something. Okay, and then you can also you also need to provide a callback. Remember, for the callback always is the last one, and for this one you can give a arrow function. Okay, because we don't use this keyword here. Okay, then you decide what you want to do. Suppose I want to if has arrow, then I will give what's thing. I will give console.log arrow. Okay, and if no arrow, I'll do something. Okay, write successfully. Okay, it will only give you arrow. Okay, if have arrow, it will show you the arrow. Otherwise, it's gonna become none. If a none, it will consider as false, right? False will go to else. And here, I don't have a students.txt here, right? So I will have a node. You will see write successfully, and you will see student.txt being something write successfully. And take a look at it here. See here. Can you guys see here? Here I write it successfully, which is before this one. I don't remember actually. Let me see here. Okay, gonna be different. Always the same. Okay, this one, what's gonna happen here? I cannot guarantee which gonna be first, which gonna be second. The reason is because this one, right? This one and also these are all callbacks, right? These two callbacks are all registered where? Register on this one. IOQ callback. Okay, are all registered here. Do you remember? Okay, but and which one gonna be pushed first? Which one gonna be pushed second? I cannot guarantee. You understand me? But even though this one is put here first, this one gonna be put here second, right? But when it's because they are all asynchronous API, I cannot guarantee which gonna be pushed here first, which gonna be pushed second. You can run many times to see if the value gonna be changed. Okay.
Whatever the code is going to be executed in sequence, right?
Yeah, but though
it's going to be pushed in the first one, whichever getting executed, it is going to push in the queue.
You cannot guarantee. You see here.
I mean, the results is going to be different. I mean, we cannot say, depends on the queue, the results can be different, but for the queue, it is going to be in sequence.
No, if the queue is going to be a sequence, then this one gonna be first, this one gonna be second. So it cannot guarantee when gonna be pushed in the queue because it have so many things going on. Do I check the timer, do all others, and it cannot guarantee which one gonna when we write a code here, it's gonna be guaranteed. Okay, this one gonna be read, but this one gonna be write, right? But when this callback gonna be pushed into the what's thing into here, it's gonna be different. Okay, because if it's based on the source code, we should see write successfully. Welcome to MIU. Okay, if they cannot guarantee, you can try later, which is this write file is super large. Okay, then you probably will see different because it's gonna take a long time compared with read this one. Okay. But the idea here, we should know this end is before both of them, okay? Because they are all asynchronous APIs. And there's another strange behavior. What's gonna become a strange behavior is this one. Here I'm read, right? Here I'm write. If you have this kind of code, when you execute multiple times, it's gonna have some strange behavior because you don't know. I'm read, right? Here I'm write, right? I suppose I write is before I read, right? You got the code? Don't do that. You're gonna have see here, right? Successful, you will see something. You are not see what's the thing? Oh, it's already been overwrite. It should be hello world or welcome to MIU or something, right? You do see here I'm a hello.txt. Now it's something, right? I change to be okay. Wait a minute for a second, okay. Okay, you will see it's become hello world. It's not the something, okay. If we want to append, right? It should have one indicator called append, but I never do before. Okay, let's try. Okay. It have some write file. Okay, yeah, it has something called append file. Okay, let's try this one. Okay. I don't want to do using this one. Okay, because wait for a second. Did you first do you know do you know here? It will override what you read. So if you have that scenario, what you're gonna do is you put this piece of code inside here. You want to read a file, then you do something else, right? You have to put it inside here. Otherwise, it cannot guarantee. Suppose you do after data, you want to add something, then work on the same file, okay? Then don't make it separately. Because if you separate it, we cannot guarantee the result. You have to put it in the callbacks, okay? And for the append, we can, suppose after we read, okay? Suppose, wait a minute for a second. We can do a demo, okay? This one is a read, this one read, how many files are students? Oh, I have a scenario. Okay. This is like when I send an email. Okay, send an email to you guys. Suppose what I want to do is after I read a file, I want to replace this thing with some data, right? And I read it back. You understand me? Then you need to put this thing inside here. Otherwise, you're gonna be lost this information, you know. So what I'm gonna do is after I read the data, right? You can do something like the modified, okay. For data dot substring is called substring. I have to use find index first. I mean, I want to replace this thing with a real name. I understand what I'm doing? How can I do it? Hey, let me check. Okay, JavaScript. Does JavaScript has a replace? Yeah, it has a replace. Okay, let's take a look at this API. JavaScript has it has a replace. See here. We can use replace. Okay, let's do data dot replace, and we will give name with actual data like John Smith. Okay, then we can take a look at. Okay, you have welcome John Smith now. Okay, you can do this one, and if we want to append. Well, if we want append, append again. Let's do here again. fs dot append file. You can also choose append. What's the append? Let's use hello.txt. I will append. You are awesome. Okay.
Append from global context. It might converse with. We're not sure.
No, if we use asynchronous, we cannot guarantee. Okay, I cannot guarantee. You are on. So, okay, it should also have a callback. Should be arrow. Okay, then whatever you do for the arrow, okay, you can do exactly something like this way. Okay, so let's take a look at it one more time. Oh, you're awesome. Append it here, right? And from here, you will see, the problem. You see here, suppose I get the data, I want to do something, right? And then after I get the data, probably you want to do other things, right? So you will have lots of, this one is called the callback here. See here, I have a callback, I have this one, this is another callback inside of this callback. And this callback is inside of this callback. Okay, and you have a lot of this one called intention. When you use tab, called intention.
Yes.
Okay, the thing. Okay, that's why in the future we will introduce the async await or promise. Okay, to solve the problem. Use the API as you like. Okay. What's the problem of the code? First, there's no error of the code, right? But this kind of code, we don't like it. Not because of the callback, okay? There's another reason related to the performance or something. The problem is, suppose your file is super large. No matter we are using read file synchronous or read file asynchronous, your data will give you as a whole at once, right? You understand me? And all the data can be loaded in your memory. So if a file is super large, it's gonna be a problem, okay? And think about what is the YouTuber doing for us. Exactly. The better way is we do stream, okay? Stream is a way to handle reading and writing file and network connections and any kind of information exchange in an efficient way. First, why use stream? Because it's memory efficient. I can read a file, no matter we use this one or resynchronous, it will give you as a whole. But for this one, you don't need to load large amount of data in memory before you are able to process it. Once you get some, you can process it, okay? But not all of them you can do. Suppose, have you guys take a look at the algorithm? Took an algorithm course. If we do sorting, probably you cannot do without know the whole, because sorting we have to know all the data, right? But you can sort a bunch and then sort the result. You can also divide and conquer, okay? And time efficiency. This one is especially related to like when we start processing, it will take a very less time to start processing data because you don't need to load a large amount. Okay, since you can start processing data as soon as you have to have it, rather than waiting until the whole data payload is available. Okay, so That's the benefits of the stream. And in Node, we do have a stream module to do all the things related to file and read a file and write a file. Also, later on, we will talk about HTTP. They also will use stream to do all the things. Okay. In Node, we have different type of stream data. Like we have a create file stream, write a file stream, and this is deluxe. Deluxe means this stream can do read, can do write, kind of like a pipe. Okay, deluxe. A stream you can pipe in or pipe from, which is read and write. And it also have transform. Transform is very similar to deluxe, but the difference is transform like a map. It can change one thing into another thing. Later on, we'll show a very simple demo, which is I will give you a TXT file. We will convert into a zip file. Okay, one simple demo. And examples of read file and write file. Take a look at all on the left side are readable stream. On the right side are writable streams. We will talk about HTTP, okay, but you guys are probably familiar with HTTP, right? HTTP has a request and a response, right? And for the request and response, take a look at on the client side, the response is what? Readable, which means a browser, okay? Client means browser. On the browser, the HTTP response object is readable, right? Because in the browser, which is the client side, when you have response will contain the HTML file, right? The browser will read those HTML files, then display on the page, right? Got me. But on the server side, the HTTP response is writable. Suppose I make a request to the server side. The server side have to send back the information to us, right? So how the server side send back information? It have to write the information into the response. So on the client, HTTP response is readable, but on the server side, the response is writable. Same thing for the request. On the server side, the HTTP request is readable because suppose you pass the information, you log in, right? You in the browser, you click something, you click login. Then on my server side, I have to read your username, password, compare with the database, right? Where should I read your username, password? You have to from request object. That's why here on the server side, request is readable. But on the client, which browser request is writable. Why? Because where should I send information to the server side? I have to put it in the request object. That's why it's writable.
Is it for the HTTP request being readable?
Which one?
That one. Requests
This one?
being, yeah.
Okay, this one, we have to take a look at like this one. This is our client, which is a laptop, okay? You think here has a browser here, you got me? Browser, and this is our server. Server is where you make your request, okay? And how browser communicate with the server? Through the HTTP, right? HTTP, okay? And HTTP has a two part. One is called a request. The other one is a response. So no matter I make a request from browser to a server side, here also we'll have a request object and a response object, okay? And when it return, it also have request and a response. You got me? And now suppose now in the browser side, okay, in the browser here I have a form. So for login, okay. Here I have a username. Here I have a password, right? You got me? And when I click login, I want to go to server side to see if I login successful or not login successful, okay? So I type my username, John. I type my username 123 and click login. So where is John and 123 be stored when it go to the server side? Request, right? Got me?
Yes.
You have to put it in the request object, right?
Mm.
So when we put something in the request object, it's readable or writable? I put something into that object, writable. So this one is a writable. where on the client side in the browser, right? Because browser has to put the thing in this here. So that's why it says on the client side, the HTTP request is writable. You got me? You got me? Okay. Now let's continue. Okay. So because I have to put my username and password here, right? And when this object, these two objects go to my server side, okay? These two objects go to my server side, okay? Go to my server side, tell me, I have a request response already passed to my server side, okay? So where should I read, where should I get the username password? From request. Now I have to read from request, right? You got me? Read from request. So HTTP request on the server side is what thing? Readable. Because I have to get information from the request, right? Okay. So now this one, username, username and password, right? I have to, on the server side, I have to read from here, right? So now, after server verify your information, username, password, suppose I say login success, okay? Login success, okay, successful. This string, where should I put? Send it back to the client. Response. So I have to put it here, right? On the server side, I have to put it here. Put it here means writable. So on the server side, response is what? Writable. Okay. Now I go to my browser. Browser will have request and response. Browser have to display login successful on the page for us, right? What they should do from response object and should do what? Read. So on the what's the on the client, the response object is readable. Understand? And you have others, okay, like a file system read is readable, file system writable is writable, okay. All others, you don't need to take a look at. There's one more, the socket. Socket is readable and writable because it's a deluxe, okay, duplex, okay. How to use it? You still use a file system. File system have something called a create readable stream, okay? And it also have another one called a create writable stream, okay? And for readable stream, writable stream, do you remember we mentioned Node is also, most of the API is also event driven? Okay, so for readable stream, it have something called on. On is like you listening for an event. Okay, and it has many events. Do you remember we talked about it? We have a close event. Close, so that on close, it's gonna register on the close, and that is also an event. And data is also an event, okay, which is you have some data. The reason why we have that one, because stream doesn't give us all the thing at once, right? So it will give you all some data, and how can I know how can I know your data is ready? That chunk of data is ready. He will give you an event. That event is called data. Okay, my data is ready. Do you want to do something on this chunk of data? And how much is this data? You can control here. So if a file size is bigger than okay, if the file size is bigger than the chunk, then it will read a chunk and emit a data event. Okay, but if a size is smaller, then it's gonna give you a whole. Okay. See here, you can use encoding to convert data in to string of the hex, okay? And use higher watermark to set the size of a chunk. Default is 64 KB, okay? Which means when we read a file, if you use create read stream, right? Every time it gonna read 60. This is KB, okay? And you can also customize. This is gonna be 16 KB, right? Customize, okay? You understand this one? 16. This is KB, okay? This one is 1 KB, right? And this is 16 KB. By default, it's a 16.4 KB. Understand? And if my card JPG is less than this one, it will give you at once. And if it doesn't, then you're gonna divide chunk by chunk. Okay, I have this chunk, each chunk will represent this one. this size, and eventually you're gonna have something which gonna be smaller than this one because it cannot it may not evenly divide. Okay, let's have a demo on this one. I will copy this. I have a file. Can you stream? Okay, I have this one. This file is Control C. If I see, I can put it here. Let me see this file, how much is, how large it is. Here. 5 megabytes, 5 megabytes, right? It's definitely, smaller than, larger than what we are trying to do later. Okay, let's have a stream there. Let me put a folder called stream, demo. Okay, then I put a card, this one here. Okay, I will have a demo.js file here, and still use file system. Okay, and if you want to use a pass, you can still use a pass. Okay. That's not necessary if for our demo. Okay. So first we have a readable. Okay. How to do it? Create a readable stream. Okay. And then you can give the path. You can give a path to that file. Okay. Here, it's not necessary. You can just have a card.jpg, or you can use a path.join. Okay. You can also use the path.join. And normally when we use path.join, normally we will use a DR, which is make sure we start with our current folder. It's a two underscore, okay? And you have a card.jpg here.
Professor, maybe put the cut in a different folder so you can say.
Okay. So we can, how about when we write to another folder. We write it to somewhere. After we read, we can do a writable, write it to somewhere. Okay. First, after readable, okay. Readable. We can attach event. How to attach event? Always use on. And you can give event like here, have example, close something, okay. And have you taken SD course? SD. This one is similar to what? Which design pattern?
Extreme.
Observer. Okay, observer design pattern. Because they took my previous course. And you have a function. Function will give you a chunk. Okay, let me take a look at. Chunk, okay. This one you can say data or chunk, which is each piece. Okay, you can give any value. Then let's see. Okay, chunk dot length. Okay, we will do like this way. Okay, first take a look at length. Sorry, I forgot to set up. We can do like this way first. This is gonna become our default one. Can I see here? All of them is default is the 60 KB. You have to use 60 multiply 102. Okay, and you can use a higher watermark to set each chunk. Uh, 16 multiply. Okay. But you will realize the last one, right? The last one, because it cannot guarantee evenly divide. So last one will be smaller or equal. Okay. And after we get a chunk, you can write. Okay. We can create a writable. Okay. fs dot create writable. And here, let's here the card is here. Let's write it to the parent. Okay. Let's write to parent. Dot join. How can I write to parent? I will write to abc dot let's call hello abc dot jpg. How can I write to? I want to write into a file name called abc.jpg and which is located to the parent here. Currently, I'm here. Okay. My bad. This from your current folder, then go parent, then go to abc.jpg. You got dot go to parent, right? This directory will represent this stream.demo, kind of like you have a dot here. Then you go to parent, okay, you do, and after we do like this way, you can do what? Right border right, right, and you can have a chunk. Okay, let's try one more time. You see here have abc.jpg. You see here, which is on this folder, right? And you have same. And this is how to navigate. Same thing as a relative URL and app. So we introduced. Okay.
Can you increase the size of high watermark?
Yes, you can increase. Yeah, like 32. Okay. You see this one being changed. Okay. And you but I use the same thing. Okay. Oh, you can like by default 62, right? Like 1 2 8. Let's do go index of it. Just how the chunk is being divided. Okay. But the result is gonna be the same. That's a stream, okay. But normally do you like this kind of data? Do you like this kind of code? Normally we don't like use on and data and close the thing, right? There's another advanced called a pipe. Okay. You can use a pipe to connect two streams, so you no longer need to listen for the data to do things. Okay, a pipe will do for you. It will provide a method called a pipe available on all readable stream. Remember, pipe is on readable stream. Okay, then you pipe to where? Pipe to writable stream, pipe to the duplex stream. Okay, because duplex stream has a pipe in and pipe from, right? And pipe will hide the complexity of listening to the stream events. Suppose you have data, you are probably listening to the data to do all the things. You probably will have a close. Okay, you want to do something. With pipe, you can simple, much simpler. Let's do a pipe. Okay. PIPE dot. Oh, no. Demo dot pipe.js. Okay. And all those part is the same. The only thing you need to do is on the readable stream, you have something called a pipe and pipe to writable. Okay, like this. And let's change to be hello. You have a where's my hello? Do I have hello.jpg? Okay. I didn't execute this one. I executed a demo. See, I do not have a hello.jpg because I executed a demo. Okay. After you execute pipe, yes, then you have a hello.jpg. Okay. If you want to make it much shorter, you can do like the what's thing. Like this, right? Do you remember what I did? Because these two variable I only use here, right? You can make it shorter, which is which make this one to be here, this line to be here. Right? Depends what you want. Okay. That's it for the lecture week. Okay, for yesterday, and let's take a 10 minutes break, and we will cover more. Oh.
So, Professor,
Uh-huh.
when you break it down into chunks, like you're writing,
Which one? Lisa?
yeah, because now we break it down into small chunks and then you're writing it somewhere else. What happens if, I don't know, something happens to the pages in the process of writing?
Oh, it has a error.
Yes.
Okay, I think readable also has you have to listen to an event. It also have an error event. Let me show you. Okay. Readable stream error. It should have error events. You can see here have an error. You have to listen for the error. Then you then in the function you have to do it. Okay.
So there's something like a buffer. So say you are hooking to some folder in the disk connection. Then when you reconnect, it then it continues from my stopped or it breaks.
Oh.
Look to the error.
It depends on you. Depends on how you write your code. Because if you have a data saved, then you can resume. Otherwise, you have to start from scratch. Okay, but it depends on how you handle the error. Suppose you but this is hard to mimic the error. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to mimic the error. Let me think about examples yeah, later. Okay, because so far our network don't have anything. Okay, won't have the error. Basically, if you have errors, you have to, because when we have those streams, right, all of them is different from the file system, because when you have set file system, the data gonna be you have error here, it will give you answer, right? And for the streams, they're all event based. They have a close event, have data event, have error event. They are all event, like an observer pattern. I'll take a look. I will think about demo about mimic the error. Okay, but now I couldn't think of good one.
Thank you.
We need to lecture in the afternoon, I think.
Last one.
Oh, Aaron. Oh, Aaron is here today. Not here, not here, not here. Let's continue. Make sure you re-download yesterday and today's lecture. Okay, I fixed some error. Re-download it. NPM and packages. We'll talk about NPM and then cover more modules. The module here will just cover basically is HTTP module. Okay, build a server-side application. So why do we need to use NPM? Okay, the problem is suppose we are doing a project and we are going to have some JS files, right? And we are going to also use probably file system and path. But we do have other things, other requirements, but the core module doesn't provide for us. Like later on, we want to use Express, which is a framework on top of a Node. Basically for HTTP server-side application. Want to have a body parser, which will read the files, read the information from the post request body, post request body, and convert the JSON string into a JavaScript object for us, okay? And all of the APIs you can write in your code by ourselves, but some APIs already there, right? And we can just download to use it. And how to do it with through the NPM. So NPM is like a tool help us to install and manage dependencies, which are third-party libraries. Okay, And all the libraries, they're gonna be registered in NPM repository, and you can install and manage them through NPM. NPM is standard package manager for Node.js. Oh, probably you guys use the what thing? Maven. Do you guys using Gradle, Maven? NPM you can think as Maven. Okay. Maven you have lots of dependency there, right? NPM can help you manage those dependencies too. Okay. It will also manage downloads of dependencies for your project. And in this website, which is host lots of packages, you can download and use them. Okay. NPM by default is installed when we install Node.js. It's already in there, and you can test use npm-v. Okay. This is by default is installed. Okay, and we talk about NPM is a standard package manager. Okay, package. Okay. What is a package? A package in Node.js, it will contain the files you need for a module. Suppose you have a feature you want to share with others, right? You can do what you can wrap it as a package, then register in NPM. So other people you can download and use it in their project. And inside that package, you will contain several files. Okay. That is all the files you need for module. And the modules you can consider as libraries, you can include in the project, okay? Normally in a package, we're gonna have lots of JS files, which are code, okay? Can be one, can be more than one. It will also have two files. One is called package.json, one is called package.lock.json. And we will see one by one later, okay? Basically, a package gonna contain these three things. So how to use and create a new package? When we use NPM, suppose later on you want to create a feature to be used by other people, right? Then you can do is NPM init. After you init, you will get a package.json. And if you want to use the packages which are already in NPM, and you want to download locally, we use npm install, and this is a package name, which is a library name, okay? And this one by default is set, which is set to your local project level, okay? You can also install in global level. We'll talk about later. Now let's take a look at a thing first, okay? Let's take a look at the first demo. In this folder, I'm going to create another folder, okay? Package demo. Package demo, okay? So first, I will do like this way. So far, this demo is empty, but it's folder. I will just do npm init, okay? And you will see a file is going up. First, when we use npm init, it will ask lots of questions. The questions you can just enter. Okay, and the reason is why. The reason is because later on you can change it by yourself. Oh, I didn't say yes. Okay, let's do one more time. Because here it's empty. I have to type yes last one.
It's in the different folder.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, see, yes. My bad. Okay, I have to go here. Okay. Because it's go to in class, probably generated. Oh my God, yes, generated here. Delete. My bad. Okay, let's do one more time. Okay. Just now I put it in class demos. Okay. Let's do one more time. npm init. Okay. Okay. Then you will see package.json. And all the questions it asks you, see here, all the questions asked here, you can change it by yourself later. You can change on the way. You can see here, package name by default, package demo, right? See here, package demo, the version, this one, the version. You can, while you do it, you can change it, or you just change it after it's generated. Another way, you can do like this way. Empty now, right? You can do, suppose you don't want to go over those questions, that's why it means yes for all the answers, okay? It will generate without asking you. Then you can change it by yourself later, okay? And this is a package.json. we will introduce each one later. Okay. So first, npm init will give you package.json. Now I will show you another one. Suppose now for this project, I want to use a moment. Okay, which is a library or package which is registered in a free. It's a free package you can use to for parse, validate, and manipulate display about the dates. I suppose you want to display dates, and I don't want to do those things by myself. And we know npm has one. Okay, you get it, and take a look at the changes made here. Okay, and also package.json. Okay. Okay, do you see the changes? First, here is being added something here, right? Before I install this thing is not here, right? And second, can you see? Oh, I have another file being added. Do you see here? Packet lock. I didn't generate this one, right? And do you see another folder called the node modules being added? And the node module, this one you can consider in Java when you do Spring, it has something called a lib. You put your third-party libraries. Do you remember? You have a lib folder when we do web. Okay, if you forget it, ignore it. Okay, basically, what's gonna happen in the module? We talk about we install a moment, right? Moment is a package, right? And you should have files. You understand me? So where are those files? It's gonna be download and put it here. That's gonna be the files related to the moment, okay? And all other libraries, when we install, is gonna be put in node modules, all of them. And let's write a simple demo here. Suppose for package demo, I have a index.js file, okay? And to use moment, we do what's the require. Hey, can you see? Did I use a /? No, we just use the name. Moment. It's the same as what thing, the same as the core modules. Okay.
But it's not.
Moment is not a core module.
Yeah, but
But when we require, we use as we don't use a /. Okay. We still use the module name, because the reason is when we do require, right? First, it will look for the modules which is under the Node.js platform installed. Second, it will look for this one. Okay.
So I use the // just for modules I create.
Yes, exactly. Okay, then we will do a very simple. Okay, I don't remember the APIs about the moment. I don't use very moment format. And here we'll give a string. And this, when we do LLL, kind of like all of them is a long. Okay. We have to take a look at API. I don't remember the API for a moment. Okay. So here just show you what's gonna happen when we install okay. You have this thing because moment is do everything related to date. Okay. The idea is you don't need to remember this code. The idea is what happened when we do npm init and when we do npm install. So when we install a new package, you will see the dependencies changed in package.json, which is this one. This one. And the second, you will notice another folder is being added, node modules. And you will see files being downloaded and put it here. And if the first time you're gonna create one and put the files, if the second time, just put the files there. Okay.
What if the moment itself have dependencies? Node.js will download each package with its dependencies.
Wait for a second. Okay, let me finish that and answer the question. Okay, the structure separate. Why we have another one here? The structure will separate our app code to the dependencies, because your code won't put in the node modules. Your code is put outside. So later on, when we do what? When we push our code to the GitHub, or check in and commit our code, do you commit the code in node modules? Guess. You won't. You only commit the code in index inside a package, but exclude the node modules. And if your installer module is separate in other places, when we do git ignore, you have to put lots of things to ignore, right? But do you understand me? So when we commit our code, when we have a git ignore, I just need to do what thing? Modules, right? Then it will exclude all the dependencies, and all other code will be my code, right? If we don't use this structure, then you have to exclude moments, exclude. You understand me? Okay, that's this one. And when we later on, when we share or deploy our application, there's no need to copy node modules. Another thing is, when we check in our code, we don't need to check in the node modules. So later on, if I share the code with Jeremiah, how Jeremiah know which kind of dependency I use, right? Through where? Package.json. And later on, you will do what? I will just use npm install, okay? And when we do npm install, no npm will take a look at your dependencies and download the dependencies and to your locally. You don't need to check in this one. I don't need to share this one with other people.
So that time you don't have to say which package to install, just the npm install into.
Yes, I will show you later. Okay. And think about it in Java when you have Maven. Because we are using IDE, it will download automatically based on Maven for us, right? But when you check in code, do we check in the libraries? No, we just check in what? Maven.xml file, right? Something that pom.xml file, right? I haven't wrote Java for a long time, several years. I remember something, but pom.xml. But here, yes, you give me package.json, I will know full details of your dependencies. You got me? So, let me demo. Did I finish? Okay. You can read all the so run npm install. We'll read all the dependencies and install them locally. Let me finish. I will explain your question. Okay. I'll go back to you. So take a look at it here. Suppose now I remove this. No, remove this one. Now I remove. I cannot do it. Yes. Delete. Okay. So I don't have anything, right? Now I have index.js, okay? Then if I execute it, you will see error because it cannot find a module moment. Okay, that is because I deleted it. Suppose I give this code to Jeremiah, he will get this error, right? How he will do first? Actually, he will do npm install. When we do npm install, the npm will look at your package.json and he will see, you have dependency here, right? Then he will download the one for you. And which version to download, we'll talk about it later. Okay. See here, it's downloading. And I see it, do you see here? Node module being downloaded. And then we execute that one again, you will have it. Got it, sir?
This is for a module that's available third party online. If I created my own,
you cannot. Okay, if you copy the thing from GitHub, put it here, then you lost it. So don't do like that way. Okay. What's your question, Mohammed?
My question: if I have third-party library, it depends on another third-party library.
If you have one, then
for example, if I have data table jQuery and jQuery, this is another example. If I install data table, it will install jQuery.
Transitive.
Yeah.
Yes. The reason what Mohammed question is, suppose I install like let's say React. Okay, React probably use other libraries, you know, and when I install React, do I need to install those libraries by ourselves, or will npm install those? What his question is like? This is my project. Okay, I'm trying to install React. This is a React, right? React also depends on other libraries. Suppose jQuery. Okay, not jQuery. Okay, You understand me? This one depends on us. Now I want to npm install React. Okay, you got me? Suppose, do I need to install jQuery by myself, or when I install React, it will automatically install jQuery for us? That's your question, right?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Second one, it will, when you install React, it will automatically download the jQuery for you. That is a alternative. You don't need to do, because let me see here. Moment. See here, for when we install Moment will also have package.json, and if it has any dependencies, oh, it has so many. See here. This is dev dependency that matter. Dev dependency is when for development mode. See here. Oh, it doesn't have. So if the Moment has also have a dependencies, it will download. Okay, you don't need to worry about the thing. Okay, otherwise it's gonna be tedious job for us to do, right?
This is already tedious in normal Java.
Normal Java is also same. Okay, now let's take a look at the package.json. Okay, it's gonna, and when we use npm, it's gonna install package.json, right? And package.json is kind of manifest for your project, which describe what kind of things, describe all the information about your project. It can do a lot of things, but completely unrelated. Okay, it has lots of information, but they are unrelated. Okay, and it's a central repository for our configuration for installed packages here, like your packages here. Okay, the only requirement for this package.json is what? You have to follow the JSON format. We actually have a slide about JSON. Here, let me introduce JSON. Very simple. JSON format is first is a string. Okay, and do you see this one? Very similar to JavaScript object. Okay, it's a it's a string, and the difference between JSON format, JSON string, and the JavaScript object is for JSON string, the keys must be quoted. The key must quote as double quotes. JavaScript object is not necessary unless you can do it. You do it, and it's optional. Okay, that's the difference. And for the values, you can do what? You can do string, you can do numbers, you can do any type. But normally in JSON string, we don't carry functions because function behavior, JSON is to transfer data. We don't have put functions there. Okay, and we will have more slides about JSON in the future. And here we have version. This version indicates the current version. Okay, and we will talk about this 3-digit letter. Okay, and name and description, and this entry is talk about the entry point of the application. Let me explain this one to you guys. Okay, and we will go back to tomorrow yesterday's slides. I will have another demo. Okay, what is entry doing? You understand me? Okay, so here I will have my package. Okay, you got me? And then I will have in the required demo, I will have app.js file, and in my package, I will have my name. Let me do index.js file first. Okay, and then this one, let's take a look at carefully. Okay. I will do npm install. Oh no, init. Okay, see, I have see here in my package so far I have 2 files, right? Package.json and this index.js, right? Do you guys want? Yeah, let me generate another one. Let's have f name is John. L name is Smith. You guys are? I will have another one called hello.js. How about this one? Okay. How about hello? You got it? This one, okay. Now, do you still remember yesterday I talked about? Now, I'm going to go back to app.js, okay? I'll do like this way. Result, okay, equals require. You remember yesterday I talked about when we require, we can also require a folder. Do you remember? But I didn't introduce it to you guys, okay? So here is the introduce. When you require a folder, if I require a folder, I require this folder, which one should I go? Index.js or hello.js? Okay, the answer is what? We have to take a look at the package.json. So here it is. The main is the entry point for the application. Okay, so take a look at it here. My main is what? Index.json. So if later on you require my package, then this res will be, it will gonna require what? It will require package my package index.js. So you will see result gonna become what's thing? This I'll go back and show you, okay? You will see an object. You got it now? And later on, suppose later on I change this one to be hello. You will get what? You will get a function, right? You'll get a function. That is require package. Okay, so any question here? Easy to understand, right? So because I require a folder, which one should I go? You have so many, which one should I go? You have to tell me which one to go, right? Which one? Go to package.json, the main, that is where to go, okay? And let's summarize what we have talked all the cases about require, okay? Do you remember yesterday we didn't go that part? Now we can summarize. So here, if the file does not start with ./ or slash, then it will consider as a core module or dependency in your local node module folder, okay? If it started with ./ then it's gonna be relative URL. And this one is gonna be the file we wrote, okay? And if it started with slash, do you remember? It's gonna also related to absolute path, okay? And if the file name pass to require a directory, okay, then you will first look for package.json in the directory, then load the file reference in the main property. Okay, otherwise you will look for an index.js file. Index.js file is a default one. Everything all covered about require. Okay, so main finished. Okay, now scripts. The scripts will define a set of node scripts you can run. This one today you want to see a very large benefit. Tomorrow we're gonna show you. Okay, today I will show you how to use it. What's gonna happen? Yes, when you have a script here, either test or start, okay? You tell how to, just now, when I start the application, I run node app.js file, right? You can also run with what? Here, I have a start. This is my node app.js, okay? You can also run one thing, npm start. It also will, do you know, when you see this arrow, this is because it doesn't support in PowerShell. I have to switch to use what's that? Command. The basic command PowerShell doesn't support it for that, unfortunately. Okay. Webmaster or in-class demo. Require demo. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, I'm going to require demo now. Okay, now I have just now I use node app.js can execute it, right? You can also use npm start. Yeah.
is inside the my package.
Oh, sorry. That's inside of my package. My package.json. Okay. Let me. Then you can do what? We can do. We can go in my package.json. Then run. Suppose I run. I don't have anything wrong. Let me. Sorry, my bad. npm init. Okay. This one, you don't need to do anything. Okay. Okay, this one. Start. I remember there's one thing. npm start. Oh no, node. app.js. Then let's npm start. You have the function to run. When we use the npm start, it's actually executed this command here. Let me change to be PowerShell. Okay. Remember, there's one thing PowerShell can I do. npm start. Oh, can do. Not this one. That's another thing. Which PowerShell can I do? I tested. Anyway, the thing is, when you have a thing, you can have a starter, then you can execute the npm start. The benefit is what? The benefit is, do you remember in Java, when we're using Java jar to start application, you can have some variables, which environment variables to set, right? And here you can also have environment set. If we use a node to do, every time you have your type of very long environment variable, and here you can do. I'll show you tomorrow, okay? But for so far you didn't see any benefits because it's short. When you see long, you will see, okay?
But it can hold any type of commands, even node or npm.
Yes, you can do, but if any it have some special characters, you can directly use npm started. But if you're using abc something, you have to. There's another. There's something you have to do. Okay. Okay. I can show you later. But I did before, but not today. Okay. And that scripts dependencies is for dependencies. Okay, use npm install, it will automatically add for you. And dev dependencies is for development mode. Okay, when we do it will not installed for us. Okay, now let's take a look at about the version. This 1, 2, 3 digit here, right? This is called the semantic versioning. The semantic versioning concept is very simple. All version has 3 digits, X, Y, Z, like a diagram, picture here. The first digit is a major. The second one is a minor. The third one is a patch version. So how can we use it? When we make a new release, you don't just jump a number as you please. We have rules. Suppose I release a new version. We probably will just like a 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You don't do it. You will have some rules to do, okay? So first is when I change the major version is when you make a incompatible API changes. What is incompatible API changes? The old API doesn't work anymore. Okay. Like a filter, you make a you suppose in the map previously I have filter. Now you don't have filter. This is called incompatible API. Then you change the major version, okay? And what is minor? Minor is you add the functionalities and you add some features, but all the APIs is a backward compatible manner. You add some features and all the API existing, it still works, okay? And when you change the patch version is you just add some bug fix. And this is a patch version, this is minor, this is a major, okay? Do you get it? Bless you. So why it is so important? Because npm set some rules we can use in the package.json to choose which version it can update the packages to when we run npm update or when we run npm install. Take a look at here. I have to go back to that package demo, okay? So here I have moment. So I have the version here, right? When suppose later on I send the code to someone else, then when they run npm install, which one should the npm choose? choose 2.29.4 or 5 or 6 or 3.29. You got me? If it has so many versions, which one should? So that's why we have to follow the rules, okay? The rules are use the symbols. Take a look at this one. Do you see here? I have a caret here. Caret, it means what? It will automatically update anything within the major release. This one I'm talking about what? Let's use in this example, okay? 2.29.4. This is my moment. And on NPM, which is that website, it already have a 3.28.1, 3.10.25, you know, 2.50.12, okay, 2.29, okay. 2.29.88, 2.29.1 okay, 2.10.1. You got me? So in our moment, the dependencies we wrote is what? Caret 2.29.4, right? And obviously we want to download this one. You got me? We want to go back, okay? We will choose one from these versions, right? Which one should we choose? And when we don't have this thing, okay, don't just the number here, it will do exactly that version, okay. And when we have this caret here, it means what? Update anything within is a major release. So if we do that, npm it will do what's the? Which one will I choose? Within these two, okay. So most of the time it will choose the latest version which under the two, because this is our thing, major, right? And it's gonna most likely gonna choose 50.12 because this one is a major version is being changed. You want to choose it because when we make a major release, mostly it's gonna have incompatible API changes, okay. And you do have something like this way. If you have a tile, it will, when run, it will update a patch. So if we do like this way, 2.29.4, it will only choose which one? 2.29.88. Only change the patch version. We have a patch version, right? This is our major, minor, and patch version. Okay. You can also use, it has many, okay, I just listed some of them. You can also use this one greater, which is any version higher than the one you specified. Okay, this one, greater, okay. So choose you, by default, the NPM, it was using the, caret, okay, because we think it's safe to update this version, but not safe to update this version, okay. You got it? Okay, so this is the general guideline rule, okay. Do you remember we still have another file called package log.json? So this one is introduced in NPM 5. Anyone use the tool called what's it? It's called YAML. YAML, which originally used in React, right? When we use React, you're using YAML before version 15 or something.
I'm not using it. I use it when you use with the Docker.
Oh, Docker. Okay. I think YAML also has 2 files. Is it called YAML? Anyway, this one get an idea from another package manager. Okay. I remember when I learned Node, React, I learned that one. And then since I switched to new version, I no longer use it. I forgot about it. Okay. The idea is what? This one is the rules. Can you guarantee every developer will follow the rules? No. Okay, because there's no error. There's no, it won't give you a warning. It won't give you, say you cannot do it. So we cannot guarantee every user every developer, when they push their package to NPM, gonna be follow the rules, right? Suppose suppose the moment author, okay? When we download, we do like this way, right? And we say that we can update anything within the major version, okay? We think it's safe, but the moment author, when they make this release, okay, he didn't change the major. He make a incompatible API changes within the major. We cannot guarantee, right? Understand what I'm saying? So in this case, when we make an update, you npm update or you install, you get the version 2.50.12 and your API change, your code break. You got it? That's why we introduce package lock.json. Because in package lock.json, we will describe the exact tree, which is when we install that moment, he will tell you which version you installed. You got me? Exactly that version. This will guarantee what? Will guarantee the dependencies on all environment. Suppose later on when we trying to deploy our application to production, to QA, to the staging, we will use npm to install the. Not now, okay. We will probably use npm for different environment based on time. It's gonna download different versions, right? But when we use package.json, it won't. For every version in all environment, it's gonna guarantee exactly the version for all environment. Okay, but the thing is, when we use package.json, you have to use npm CLI if you want to use the file. You cannot use npm install. npm install gonna do what? Use the package.json, not using this file. Okay, and don't recommend that you modify these files. Ask the npm to do for you. When you use npm install, it will automatically do for you. Okay, don't change. And always use npm CLI to change the dependencies, and it will automatically update the package lock.json, which is when you use npm install, it will update it. Okay, no need to worry about this one. Okay, and don't change it by yourself. Just understand what it is used for. Any question on semantic versioning and package.json? Okay. No. If not, let me take a look at the slides. Okay. So we will take a look at. Let's finish 2 slides, and for the remaining, let's leave it to the afternoon because they are connected each other. Okay. More about packages. Suppose you want to save some in developer mode, probably we need to write some testing code, right? Like this Mocha is one test API library you can use. It also have Chai, Mocha, and some others. And for those dependencies, we don't want to install for the production. Okay, so when you do, you can install on dev mode, use save dev. Okay. And there's some dependencies you probably want to use for globally. Like one of this one is called Node Moon. We will introduce Node Moon later. Node Moon is detect changes, restart your application. This one, take a look at it here. I'm not sure if I can demo here. Suppose here, when I run node index.js, require demo or cd package demo. Every time if I make a change, I have to execute again to see the result, right? Especially when we do development on the server side, like I have a web application started. Every time I make a change, I have to stop the application, restart, stop application, restart. It's not a good experience, right? And you can use Node Moon. Okay, it will detect changes and automatically restart your application. So do not need to stop, start. I will show you this one later to you. Okay, and for the Node Moon, you probably when we do development, we have multiple projects. You understand me? All of them need to have this dependency. So in this case, you can install globally. This -g means globally. Okay, you can install in every project. You can also install globally. You understand me? For if you have some dependency you will use for every project, then you can install globally. How to do npm install -g Node Moon. Let's see after install if it's gonna work. And how to execute it again? Node Moon index.js. don't. Not the moon. Index.js. Yep. This one. Let me go back. Okay. It probably is this one. Let me see. Okay. CD in class CD 0.1.2. CD package demo node moon index.js file. Not recognized. Close. Okay. Yeah. It's slow. I want to open VS Code. VS Code. VS Code. Why it is? VS. V. Okay, if not, I have another idea. Oh. Super slow now. They say we have to have a break. Okay. I cannot open anything now. I cannot. If I restart it, everything is gone. I will demo to you in the afternoon. Okay. Yeah. I cannot do. Do you remember do you know the arrow? Node moon is not an external command. When you install Java, you have a Java C the thing problem. Okay. We have to close and restart. Okay. All the things I cannot show you. npm CLI, which is all the command it available for the npm you can do, but I didn't list everything. Okay, just list the thing which highlighted as red is the thing you have to understand. Like npm init, what's the create package.json. Okay, npm install package. You don't need to have --save or --save. Okay, it's now it's by default gonna be saved. This one like a 7 or 8 years ago, you have to add the --save. Okay, and this one is installed globally. Okay, and if you want to take a look at the package when you install in the future, how many packages are gonna download, you can use a dry run. Okay, and you can list all the global packages and do update other things. Let me check if I can think. Okay, that's it. Any question? Global package is what? It's gonna be you can consider as what? When we use npm install moment, it's gonna download into where? Into node module in your current project, right? And when you use npm install globally, you can think as a core module, which every project you can use without install again.
Even not maybe current project?
Yeah, current project, another project, just this laptop.
Yep.
Yeah, this server. Yeah.
Any project saved on this server?
Yes. Yeah, you can use. You can think as a core module now.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywhere. Anywhere in this one.
It means every other package, every other project you do, the JSON will have its dependencies.
No, you don't have, because it's installed globally. It's gonna be saved in with the location in the node platform somewhere. Okay, it's not in your project. It doesn't exist in your local project and node module, because if it exists there, it's only for that project. It's not for every project.
If I create new project?
Export our project and send it to someone else, so they will get errors, right? Because it won't be there in the dependency.
Yeah, you will see what's in you. Yes, exactly. You have to make sure they also install globally. Okay, globally is normally is for some tools, like Node Moon is kind of a tool. It won't affect your code. Is just a way to how to start your application, detect changes. Okay. I will demo you in the afternoon when it's back. Okay. So now let's stop. We will do group meditation and we'll come back for afternoon.